Hello everyone, I'm Shadave the YouTuber, and welcome to my top 10 list of the best Sly Cooper bosses. This was suggested to me by a viewer, so if you have any other ideas or wishes for videos, leave them down in the comment section below. I've built this list around the following criteria. Did the fight have any build-up? Did the boss have an interesting personality? Was the fight itself fun, challenging, and well thought out? With that being said, this list contains spoilers, and now let's start the countdown. Number 10. Let's start this list with the Panda King. There's not too much to him aside from his fight. It's quite basic since you just have to run in a circle to get to him and then whack him with your cane. But there's something satisfying about dodging his attacks, hitting him. Also, the fact that he becomes your ally in Sly 3 makes him that much more awesome. Number 9. I really didn't know whether I should put the Contessa on this list or not. On one hand, she's a really interesting character and the big coup in her second episode is really cinematic, which I always enjoy. But on the other hand, she's also the reason that we had to go through what are easily the two worst levels in Sly 2, and the fight itself was pretty weak. I decided to put her at number 9 just for her interesting personality. Number 8. Clockwork. Clockwork? As in the main villain of the series? Only at number 8? Yes, only at number 8. The problem with him was mainly that through the entire adventure of Sly 1, he was built up as the big bad guy, the one that you should fear the most, the gigantic threat. And then we get to the boss fight and it's a shooting minigame. And a bit of platforming at the end to finish him off is just not enough to save it. Number 7. You know what a boss fight has to be so I consider it one of the best? Multi-staged. There is nothing that makes a boss fight better than variety through multiple phases. This is why the Black Baron really earns his spot on this list. His fight starts with an airplane battle where you are not alone, but you compete against two other teams. Once you damage his fighter enough, he calls in reinforcements and you battle him on foot on top of the wing of the plane he just called. So not only do you have to watch out for his attacks, but you also have to stay inside the narrow arena. The only downside to it is that the camera perspective makes it hard to see his attacks coming at times. Number 6. And on spot number 6 we have another frenemy of ours, Dimitri. I don't really know why I put him here. I mean, his fight was pretty easy and he's not that much of a threat, so...
You think you can swing the bat? Show your bling and let me shine you.
Oh right, his attitude is really cool.
And your suit sucks.
My suit is greasy sweet.
See? Yeah, that's the only reason. Next. Number 5. Neela from Sly 2 is on this spot because of her extremely well built up character. It's hard to describe, so let me just show you my feelings towards her.
Yeah, we get to team up with the cop. That's so awesome! I mean, she could help us with information from the police. Or maybe she could get a small army to fight the Claw Gang. And, or even better... You little better get out of my way or I'll strangle you with your whip, you piece of bitch!
The fight itself is a pretty fun vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. Too bad that we never get to fight her on foot. Number 4. Miss Ruby the Voodoo Crocodile is really strange. Like all the bosses in Sly Raccoon, her battle comes pretty much out of nowhere, but her fight makes up for that. It has to be the most creative Simon Says type boss fight which I've ever seen. She throws these symbols at you and you dodge them by pressing the corresponding button. By dodging, you get closer to her and you can hit her once. Repeat that on different sub-scenarios and you get an extremely fun time, accompanied by a catchy tune. Number 3. Lefouille, the self-proclaimed smartest man on the Seven Seas, is one of the best villains in the series. What I specifically like about him is that he's not afraid to kill his own men if it serves his purposes. Also, his fight is more than just multi-staged. You take control of more than one character through the course of it without being unnecessary, and you even leave him for a few minutes. Fighting him as Penelope on top of the ship's mast was one of the most epic moments in the game. Number 2. General Tsao. Probably the biggest asshole in the entire franchise. He's a sexist, he kicks puppies, and he thinks that his lineage provides him with all the rights to do that. He's also one of the only boss characters that finds your hideout and interferes with your plans to stop his plans. Tsao is a perfect villain, and the fact that his fight comes up so surprisingly makes him even better. The fight is fun, both on top of the arena and on the bottom. Definitely better than this lazy excuse for a boss that we get at the end of the episode. Also, the fight gets more challenging as it progresses without ever getting cheap. Looking at you, Claw Claw. Number 1. And finally, on spot number 1 we have the only good final boss fight in Sly Cooper's history. It is Dr. M. This good old pluckhead over here is my favorite boss in the Sly series. Remember how I said I love multi-staged battles? Well, this is the best example of a multi-staged boss fight. First, you fight him underwater as Dimitri. Then, you don't see him for some time, just to fight him some minutes later in an airplane. After that, you do 2 missions, but when you enter the Cooper Vault, you fight him as Bentley along with Murray, and when you finally defeat him as those two, the actual final fight starts as Sly inside the most important part of the vault. A good final boss tests all the skills you've learned along your journey, and Dr. M does just that by not only testing all of Sly's skills, but also the ones of Bentley, Dimitri, and the plane. This is why he deserves this place on the list. Hey everyone, I hope you liked that video. If you did, feel free to check out my last videos. Until next time, Chaos Control.